Growing up, I grew up in a Catholic family and going through the motions of church every once in a while, but there was never really any relationship with Jesus involved in that.
Yeah, and for me, I also grew up in the Catholic Church, but again, never really had a relationship with Jesus. And then I moved away. I went to college in Minnesota. I straight away, was partying, and that was a time where I met Blake.
2021, we moved to Illinois, to Arlington Heights, where she grew up, and I pretty quickly after we moved here got a job at a school district. They have a weight room there that I loved using in the mornings before work. It was a Wednesday. I was in the weight room doing my first set of squats, and I had my headphones in, blaring Nordic metal music. It was as if somebody turned down the metal music in my headphones, and I heard a voice, and the voice said, "Give God a chance." And that voice repeated the same thing about eight or 10 times in about 45 seconds, to the point where I had to set the weight down. I was sitting there in the moments after my experience, and I remember thinking I could just ignore this and go about my life as I've been living, and nothing would have changed. But there was something that drew me to find out where that would lead. It was just too real not to figure out what it was all about. So at that point, I did the only thing a married man does, right? They tell their wife. So I texted Teague right away, and then I called the one person I knew would believe me, other than my wife, my mom, who was very strong in her faith, and she kind of gave me some advice of where to start. And that was just reading the Gospels and start to pray.
When Blake told me what had happened, I was in shock. For somebody who is very skeptical of Jesus and being a follower, I couldn't think anything other than it has to be true.
In the months following, I started to follow my mom's advice. Through reading the Word every day and praying every day, Jesus became real to me, and I could feel him start to change my heart.
The process was a little bit slower for me. I really didn't open my eyes to the journey that was ahead of us until we actually decided to go to church. So one Sunday morning, we pulled into the Bridge parking lot, and we had a warm welcoming. Yeah, we were drawn in. So we continued to go to the Bridge for a few weeks, and through that process, reading the Bible, getting involved, and at that point, I really determined that I needed Jesus, and I was ready to accept him as my Lord and Savior.
After that, we joined a small group, and we started serving on the weekends, and it's been so awesome to grow in your faith with other people. It's cool to see the impact in our lives. Like, our marriage has never been better. The way we parent our kids has never been better.
Yeah, even just our children coming back and talking about all the great things that they've learned and being involved in Awana, it has been life-changing, to say the least.
Maybe you'll never hear an audible voice like I did, but just let me tell you, God is worth giving a chance. It changed our marriage. It changed the our lives, every aspect of our lives.
And he'll speak to you in different ways. He finds a way that is most impactful to you. Just like with Blake, he needed that jolt in order to follow that path.
I'm Blake.
And I'm Teague, and we're followers of Jesus Christ.